Hello and welcome to Still Buffering, a sister's guide to teens through the ages. I am Riley Smurl.
I'm Sydney McElroy.
And I'm Taylor Smurl.
Well, sisters, are you enjoying this lovely spring weather?
I mean, it's raining outside and it's kind of cold.
You didn't buy into the fiction. Let's try that again, okay? I'm trying to create an atmosphere for our listeners. Hello, sisters. Are you enjoying this lovely spring weather?
Hey, I don't know about what's going on down there, but up here in New York City, we actually do have lovely spring weather. It's finally like in the 60s and not raining for the first time in like a week.
Although, you know, rain is part of spring because April showers, May flowers.
Yep.
That's from the Bible.
Well,
or no, Shakespeare.
yep.
Somebody?
Hamlet.
Mr. Rogers.
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Somebody cool said that.
Abraham Lincoln. When in doubt, guess Abraham Lincoln.
The more you know.
This has been your educational bit brought to you by the Smurl Sisters. Trust us on everything because we know it all.
No, it's getting warmer. There's flowers.
Well, not really.
There's some flowers. There were a few.
I think I'm a bit worried about the flowers this year because it was like 70 degrees for a minute there in January and then like 20 degrees last week. So I feel like I just want to say, like, flowers, you just stay inside till it's safe. Like, don't come out of the ground. You can't trust it up here right now. And you are delicate flowers.
Yeah, it was really nice this weekend. Now it's just raining and cold. And this weekend it's supposed to be like 32 degrees. So the flowers aren't doing great.
That's why Mom turned your all's front yard into
Ghostville.
Into a land of ghosts.
That I came home from being gone for a week and looked out my bedroom window and went, oh no.
All the trees have turned to ghosts.
There was a ghost right outside my window and I was like, why is there a ghost? Like, oh, it's a tree. It's like, well, I'm jet lagged and sleep deprived. So that's probably why I thought it was a ghost. I do not appreciate you doing this to me. Please take into consideration your daughter next time you decide to turn all of our trees into ghosts.
All of the trees and bushes, every plant. There were so many sheets and pillowcases and whatnot out in the front yard. And there was a debate between Mom and Dad, like, can we take them down? Well, but it's supposed to freeze one more night. Well, but and then Dad saying, like, but don't they need to, like, breathe or something in between? Like, how long can you leave a sheet on a bush before the bush dies?
Well, none of our bushes died, and we left the sheets on there for like 2 weeks, so I guess that's the limit.
Yeah, Mom was right. She said it's breathable.
Yeah, you don't put like plastic bags over them. I think what
that's like suffocation.
Yeah, like what a tree can breathe through and what a person can breathe through, I feel like are similar.
Pretty much one and the same.
I still don't want a sheet over me for a week.
Oh, man, some weeks I do.
I'm in bed asleep. Then
I liked her telling me how she was angry at the people at one large supermarket complex that had trees out front and that no one was taking care of them and that she was trying to find someone in the building that would be aware that the trees will be cold. And I'm like, yeah, that's not... Those kids are making like $5 an hour. No one's going to take the time to gently cradle some trees.
She was very sweet. She was very worried about the trees.
Mom did. She tracked down a superstore employee and said, like, your trees outside, it's going to freeze tonight. They're all going to die. You have to bring them in. And she said, and of course they didn't. And then I was there a couple days later and there were people looking at those trees and they're dead. They're never going to grow. Nothing's going to grow. They're dead. I mean, I can tell just looking at them. I mean, those people don't know.
That's so sad for the trees.
I know. It's this crazy weather.
Crazy weather.
But it does harken the beginning of spring.
Yes, it is officially spring now, and it has been for like, I don't know, a month, 2 weeks, 3 weeks.
A couple weeks, yeah. Which is odd because something occurred prior to spring. An annual rite of passage for every teenager.
Spring break.
Which, in fact, happened in winter.
It happened in winter, technically.
For Riley. Now, I mean, certainly there are probably people who haven't had spring break yet.
Yeah, mine was the first week of March, which is ridiculous.
That's not spring.
That's not spring. That's winter break. And we already had winter break. And you know what it was for? Christmas.
So that is not a spring break, but it was a break in the spirit of spring.
In the spring
in the
spirit,
name of spring.
we took a week off school, which I've always thought a week doesn't count as a break. Like, don't just give me 1 week off and say that's a break. After the end of the week, I've just had enough time to recover. Give me 2, and I'll come back rejuvenated.
Just wait till you're a grown up. The idea of a week break. You'd love that.
I know. A week, it's like, I'm not going to be able to go back to work. I'm going to have forgotten everything in a week.
Well,
that's what happens. They have just enough time for us to forget everything we've learned in 11 years of school, but not enough time where I come back feeling well rested. Perfect combination.
Now, I'm assuming, I don't know this. Maybe I should have read this ahead of time. I'm assuming spring break came from planting time.
What?
Well, you know, our school calendar is built around an agricultural society that would spend the summer like tending to crops and harvesting and all that. So like that's why you have summer break.
Yeah.
So
I guess spring break is for planting.
Because I mean, otherwise, if you think, and this is not like my proposal for year-round schooling. I'm really not. I'm not like taking either side in that debate. I'm not an educator, and I don't know all the research.
It's actually a pretty good idea, but go ahead.
I think there probably are some big benefits, but right now I don't have a dog in this fight. That being said, that whole summer break idea, if you just look at it without that knowledge, it looks crazy. Like, why do we just say, like, kids don't need to learn in the summer?
It's warm outside.
It's really warm. They'll be too distracted. No learning. It's kind of crazy.
They'll come to school with their bathing suits on all the time. They won't be able to stop thinking about the pool.
So when you think about, like, was spring break, I don't know, was it like the planting week? Do you plant all the seeds then?
Planting week. Plant break. Not spring break, plant break.
Somebody must know this. We don't.
Either that. That's my theory. Either that or that it was originally tied, that it was like an Easter thing. Mm-hmm. That it was tied to Easter and it was giving people off a week, almost like a religious holiday kind of thing. Because my recollection of spring break was largely tied to Easter.
Yeah. Now ours is a full month before Easter.
Yeah. It has nothing to do with Easter.
No, it has nothing to do with
any
Easter.
Holiday.
Now they've aligned it with the end of the third 9 weeks of the school year and the beginning of the fourth 9 weeks. So like our spring break is 9 weeks after the end of our Christmas break. So report cards go out right after spring break. So that way when you get back from spring break, you only you only have 9 weeks of school left.
Which, I mean, it makes more sense to have the school calendar be based more on like
school
than
the school calendar be based on school.
Absolutely, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Either way, spring break mutated from whatever it's either plant-based or it's either organic origins, it's carbon-based origins,
it's party origins,
or it's party origins, or it's it's Easter origins, whatever. It has become the week where teenagers are supposed to go wear bathing suits in sunny locations and
do party things.
At least
party things.
That was my concept of spring break. I think we should all like disclose that. Now I did do this in college. In high school, I did not partake in the spring break debauchery.
I feel like any time that you were supposed to be in a bathing suit by a pool as a teenager, I never did that. All the times you were supposed to, I never did.
I mean, I did all summer
breaks. I don't know.
I find myself by the pool in a bathing suit by myself. But when there are other teens around, it's like, time for a t-shirt.
See, I did a lot of that over the summer.
Because Sydney was smooching a lot of boys, so she had to wear a bathing suit.
Yeah, and there was a public pool, and there were all the games you played, and there were all the boys that I liked there. And
to smooch.
Yep. No, so a lot, but spring break was too early. There are no pools open in Huntington, West Virginia in the spring.
Even when you go to
it's cold.
Even when you go to warm places, it's not even that warm.
Well,
like
you go to like where do you all go? Where do they all go? Cabo.
We were in Cabo the week before my spring break, and it was warm. But like we were also on a beach, and it was not beach weather. It was very windy, and the water was very cold.
That's true. It was not hot. I mean, it was warm.
But also maybe these teens in bathing suits are not doing a lot of swimming. Maybe they're too busy partying.
Maybe they're not there to work on their
their swimming techniques.
Yeah, I think you just like dance adjacent to a pool.
There were a lot of people dancing in the middle of the street. That's not adjacent to a pool. That's just in the middle of the street.
I think that's a good example of when we went recently, Riley and I were both on a cruise, on the JoCo cruise, and we went to Cabo San Lucas, which I think of as one of the quintessential spring break.
And I was unaware that this was a spring break destination
I'd never
was
been
caught
there.
off guard by the number of party teens.
It's when you get off
Party
at
teens.
least, yeah, when you
Party
get off where the cruise lands and like walk off the dock, like there's a Senior Frogs like right there. Like you are at Senior Frogs instantly. And it's a little overwhelming if you're not prepared for spring break Senior Frogs. Although maybe Senior Frogs is always that way.
I wasn't prepared for the amount of dudes that I saw there. And when I say dudes, you know who I'm talking about. It's those college age boys that are wearing backwards baseball caps, but for some reason still have their sunglasses on their head, but use their hand to shield their eyes because they have to look cool with their sunglasses on their head and their baseball caps backwards, and tight tank tops and swimming trunks. And they're always looking to it like, dude. You know what I'm talking about? There were a lot of those.
Like they're just constantly looking at each other and going, Cabo!
Yeah.
And like high-fiving.
No.
Spring break!
Wow. I'm were there puka shells? I feel like that's the essential thing you're missing.
I think they all were wearing them.
Well,
Okay.
I was going to ask Riley that question. So part of
Were
that...
there puka shells?
Well, is that still a thing that dudes do? I mean, now, to be fair, I should not single dudes out. I had a puka shell necklace.
Did you?
I owned one. I wore it. I did have one. So it was made of hemp and puka shells.
Of course it was.
Of course it was. It probably had Fimo beads on it too. But I did wear that at some point in my life. Is that still popular?
What?
Puka shell.
Well, like at all times of year,
Yeah, because I mean, it
all
wasn't
seasons.
If you were
It's Christmas and dudes are walking around their puka shell necklaces.
there were dudes who did like that was who they were all year long. They didn't need to be confined to that week in March.
I have never seen someone at my school wear a puka shell necklace.
Well, that we also had PacSun as a very popular thing when we
Yeah.
were in high school, and so that was a whole look. Like you always looked like you were ready to go catch some sweet spray. What's a cool way of talking about waves?
Can you just say waves?
Well, no, but I'm sure they had cool words. I don't know any because I do not have access to
Foam?
cool.
Let's go catch some sweet spray foam.
Some sweet spray foam, some wicked sand. I don't know.
Let's go sand surf. Let's catch some wicked sand.
Let's go get some tubular tubes because waves
tubes to
waves
go
sometimes can help.
No, that was definitely that was definitely like a look. That was you're right. I mean, there like PacSun made it so that like all year round you could look that way, and it was cool. Spring break was the time where everybody was supposed to, that was the celebrated.
I will say, when I was in elementary school, of course, the perfect boy specimen from the Eyes of an elementary schooler at the time I was in elementary school was Zac Efron in High School Musical. And I remember having his doll from the second movie where they're all at a country club at the pool, and he came with a puka shell necklace. And I was thinking, this is so cool. I want to meet a boy at the beach that looks just like Zac Efron and wears a puka shell necklace.
We all did.
But now I'm a teenager and realize no one should wear a puka shell necklace.
Yeah, or board shorts when you're not by a pool, because I remember that was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like you would wear the board shorts to school.
Yep.
Like you could be on land and sea at any moment. These pants are made out of slicky material. I'm good to go.
Maybe I just came off my boat. You'll never know.
I mean, it's like a boat here.
You know what's sad? I still have a hoodie sweater that I wear from PacSun. I've
shop at
owned that
PacSun.
thing, but I've owned that since I shopped at PacSun.
Yeah, I think PacSun has become a different style aesthetic.
Is it more skater now? Because I felt like it was taking that turn at some point.
Yeah, it was
more
going a skater direction.
and more like what's popping now.
Oh.
More like all the new teen trends all the time. Also very expensive.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yes.
Well, it was never cheap. A lot of my perception of spring break when we were younger was tied to MTV Spring Break. I didn't go to any of the places I think they went places like Cabo or Cancun or, sunny beach locations where there were a lot of very attractive people and very little clothing. Like the clothing
Right.
to human ratio was different than you find most places, most times.
Yeah, ratio of clothing to human was like 1 to 5.
and probably lots of alcohol. I wasn't, and since I wasn't consuming a lot of that in high school, it just wasn't an option for me. I didn't know how people got to do this. Like, I had friends who did spring break, who went to beaches. They didn't go to Cabo. I think they went to Myrtle Beach, but they
went to either Florida or Myrtle Beach.
But like, I had friends who went to the beach for spring break, and I'm assuming they did these same things, only without Carmen Electra and Carson Daly, but otherwise they were still doing these things. But MTV Spring Break was like what you thought, this is what all the cool people are doing. And if I was cool, I'd get to do this too. At least that's the way I used to watch MTV Spring Break and feel. Because everybody was dancing always.
Yep.
It was sort of like the grind. It was like
The grind.
Here's music and here are all of these attractive young people dancing to it. And everybody was having a blast, which in my adult years I finally understood was because they were all drinking and didn't know what was happening, probably. And then there was like this assumption that a lot of like sex stuff was going to go on because there were a lot of games that were like highly suggestive for the time. And like at the time when they did this stuff on TV, like my recollection of MTV Spring Break was like parents were like, oh no, is this what our kids are doing? Are they going to Cancun and they're playing a game show where they have to get in the back of a VW Bug with a member of the opposite sex and change bathing suits and then get back out, and whoever does it first wins something?
That
wins a new bathing suit? I don't know. Because that happened. I mean, like, there were tons of game shows like that, which involved like light nudity, sometimes smooching.
Yeah.
Whipped cream, lots of like honey. There were times where like there were people like rolling around in honey and feathers. I don't remember why. I'm sure they were all trying to win something. Probably a gift certificate to Senior Frogs.
Right.
But aren't those just like evolutions of those dumb like cliche teen games that I never went to cool teen parties to see people play, but I'm assuming that at some point people actually played them, like where you'd pass the orange underneath your neck and your chin. Or like the suck and blow game where you like pass a card from people. Like,
oh yeah,
it's really just like
in Clueless.
Yeah, like it's a thing that you're doing to be mildly excited by your proximity to a member of the opposite sex or just another person. Doesn't have to be the opposite sex.
No, yeah. I think you're right. I think that's very much what it was. It was just they did a lot of stuff that I think was very visual since it was being filmed.
No.
As opposed to what you do in your, people with an orange. It's not very exciting. That's barely a step removed from like the egg and a spoon race.
What was the one where you grease up a watermelon and then you'd try to chase it around a pool?
Was that
what?
It was like a fun summer game. Like it was like a greasy watermelon, and I guess once it interacts
greasy watermelon.
Yeah, because it slips out of your hands really easily in the water, and so you chase it around and you try to capture the greasy watermelon. It's just the worst game ever. Now that I explain it.
They probably did that. Anything that involved like greasiness was usually a staple, and then there was. Jerry Springer was a big part of MTV Spring Break because he would host Springer Break, and it would just be like a live like outdoor taping of Jerry Springer show.
That makes it spring is when it's live and it's outside.
It's live and it's out, like, well, and also like the way he was dressed, like he'd be in like
an aloha shirt and a lay.
Exactly.
And board shorts.
Everybody's wearing like board shorts or cargo shorts. Everybody's either wearing one of the two all the time. But like he would host the show and it would be all teen stuff and teen issues, and hopefully somebody would be in a bathing suit and hopefully somebody else would make out, and hopefully somebody would fight. Well, I mean, I think that was the plan. Like that was the goal of the show. Was that, and then at the end you'd have, maybe if you were really lucky, people in bathing suits fighting each other, and then you've won Spring Break.
And then making out.
Then you win. Then you win MTV Spring Break, and it can end. Until that happens, it has to keep going.
Someone must have done that because I think it's over.
I'm assuming. Does MTV Spring Break still happen?
Does MTV
still happen.
MTV still happens.
But do they do music? Is it just shows? I think it's just teen shows now.
But that's been a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. Do you guys even watch MTV?
No. That's what I mean. I think it has cool teen shows. I take that back. I watched one teen show on MTV, Scream, the TV series.
Okay.
That is an MTV show.
I don't know if they do, did they do things like, we've talked about Total Request Live before, TRL. But did they do like music shows? Do they do countdowns? Like here are the top 10 music videos. Do they do that kind of stuff? That's interesting. This was, I think MTV Spring Break was starting to move in the direction of some of like the MTV reality shows, like all the dating shows and those kinds of things that they do on MTV. Mm-hmm. I think this was a step in that direction. Like you see the stuff on Spring Break where it's like stunt TV.
Mm-hmm. Stunts.
Yeah. It's
just lots of stunts.
Yes. Young, attractive people doing stunts.
So it's like Wipeout, except with less clothes and teenagers.
Although a lot of it is about relationships. Like a lot of them would be about like different. Do you remember MTV Singled Out?
Me?
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Was that the one that Jenny McCarthy was on?
Unfortunately, Jenny McCarthy. But the very cool Chris Hardwick, on the other hand.
Yeah.
The very cool Chris Hardwick and the very unfortunate Jenny McCarthy.
Yes.
Hosted a dating show together called Singled Out.
Uh-huh.
And I think you see like a lot of MTV programming was born of that, where it was like one person who couldn't see all the people behind them, and there were like 100 of them, and then like they'd ask questions and get rid of everybody who answered the wrong thing until they narrowed it down to like the last one.
Mm-hmm. Now, MTV has also created one of the best dating shows in existence, Are You the One? Which is just a bunch of barely 21-year-olds on an island where they know their perfect match is there somewhere, but they don't know who it is, and all of them get really mad when they smooch someone and then find out it's not their perfect match.
That show is amazing.
It is amazing. It's better than The Bachelor. I will say it. It is much more entertaining, and there's a lot of teen fighting and a lot of teen partying.
What kind of scientific evaluation did they put these teens through to find out their
10
perfect
attractive female teens, 10 attractive male teens. One of them has a perfect attractive match of the opposite sex.
But based on what
some sort of
a bunch of questionnaires and surveys and personality inventories, and then like they say they have professional matchmakers who help pair them up.
My theory is they change it throughout the show, so even if someone gets their perfect match, they change it to add to the drama.
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think so.
I don't know
because they all try to win all the millions of dollars, and how much money you get depends on how many weeks you make it.
Wait, well, you get money for finding your perfect person?
If everyone finds their perfect match, then you get money.
You split $1 million among everybody. But everyone, it's an all or nothing. Either everybody wins and everybody finds a perfect match and gets money, or nobody wins.
But so some people do find their perfect match, so you could say some people win.
I'm going to tell you the secret, I think, to this show in just a minute.
Okay.
But first,
let's check the group message.
Yeah, let's go.
We have one Jumbotron this week.
Who's that from?
Who wants to tell us about it?
Well, I will tell you that it's for Shauna.
And it's from Ryan.
Would you like me to send this message to Shauna? Shauna.
Okay.
I'm going to do it. My answer to how did I teen is that I prepared to meet you. I swam, lifeguarded, listened to 90s pop rock, watched Seinfeld reruns, and randomly drove past your house on summer vacation. I'm forever grateful that our lives merged during our last teen year, and we've been able to adult together for the next 16 years. Happy birthday.
Aw,
that is so sweet.
Shauna.
Very sweet.
Happy birthday, Shauna. That was very sweet, Ryan.
That was very sweet.
I think her actual birthday might be April 13th. So happy early birthday.
Happy early birthday
to you. I hope it's wonderful. I love that 90s walk down memory lane I just took with that message. That was wonderful.
That's some solid teen prep there, especially the Seinfeld.
I know. I love that. I'm going to tell you, first of all, I should say, Are You the One is an excellent show. It is also, as we're talking about it, I realize the it is MTV Spring Break in a TV show.
Yeah. And
It
also,
is.
it's great for nerds because it's one giant logic puzzle.
Yes.
Where you line up all the teens and find out, if you can't be with this person, you can't be with this person. Who
It's-
can you be with?
It makes so much sense now that I think about it in that context, because you put them all in a cool location. Like, it's all somewhere beautiful and tropical. They have an amazing
A
house.
huge house with
they
all
have a
sorts
pool.
of alcohol and food.
They have free food and booze all
Yeah.
the time. Yep, it's perfect. And then they make them do stunt games
Yeah. Like,
that they don't involve nudity.
no, but it's a lot of, like, one of them, they had to lick gross foods off of glass panes to reveal a clue about the other person.
What?
And then they had to guess what person it applied to. Like, this person's favorite food is pasta. And they had to lick off, like, layers of, like, fish paste or something to see that. And they had to guess which person it applied to. That's literally, I'm not exaggerating. That's exactly what they had to do.
The reason this show is great is because of the host,
Yes.
Ryan Devlin.
Yeah.
He's hilarious and amazing, and he convinces these, and I should say they're not teens.
They're not
They're
teens.
20-somethings.
But they look like they're teens.
He convinces them that what they really need to do is, instead of using logic to figure this out, they should just trust their hearts.
Yeah.
And he's constantly urging them to just trust what they feel. And it's amazing because they fall for it.
They do.
and he's a genius, and the show's genius. And I think they talk about it on Rose Buddies too. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure Rachel and Griffin also talk about Are You the One on Rose Buddies.
Yeah, my favorite is when
and it's
you'll
amazing.
have two people, and, like, I guess if there's something you have to go through. If you're a couple, you can go to the truth booth and figure out whether you're actually a perfect match or not. And if you are, you get to leave the house and go to some secret couple teen place,
Like honeymoon thing.
like a honeymoon place. But if it's not your perfect match, then you have to go back into the house and find out who it is. But there are still couples on there who'll go to the ceremony at the end of the week to see how many perfect matches they have, who will say, I know she's not my perfect match, but I'm going to pick her anyways.
I love her.
I love her so much. And it's like, well, you just took away money from all of your fellow attractive spring break teens. So I hope you enjoy living in that house with them.
They have Taylor. You have to watch this show. They have
Please
a
watch this
room.
show.
They have a room
Oh, no.
designated for people to go have sex, and it's called the Boom Boom Room.
Oh no. Oh no, I definitely don't have to watch this show.
You do.
Oh, this sounds like everything that I don't like.
It is MTV Spring Break turned into a show.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
MTV got rid of MTV Spring Break, but they have created Are You the One, which is 10 times better, even though I never witnessed MTV Spring Break.
Riley, what do you guys do on spring break now? Anything?
Most of my friends go on trips, and, like, they don't go on, like, party spring break trips. They just go on, like, trips with their family, like, to the beach or, like, to some other place to visit family or go to Europe or whatever, go on fancy trips for a week. I just stay at home and watch Netflix and lay in bed and sleep until noon and stay up until 3. And then know I have homework to do all spring break that I could have been doing all week, and then put it off until the Sunday night before spring break is over.
No.
That's pretty much it. Because all my friends are out of town, so I'm like, well, I'm here alone. I don't have anything to do. Might as well just watch all of Friends over again and stay up until 4 in the morning.
Do you think that part of that is that it is, I mean, like for parts of the world like here, it's not particularly warm?
Yeah, I think it is. But also, if we put off our spring break for, like, one more month, like, if we would have waited till the first week of April instead of the first week of March, it would have been warm enough. There wouldn't have been pools open, but we could have, like, I don't know, done things outside or gone somewhere close by. But it was still very cold. Like, it wasn't just not warm. It was just cold.
Are parents on to the spring break thing now? Is that maybe the difference? Like, because my thought is, if spring break was this secret, like, week of teenage debauchery always, which I can't imagine it was. I don't know when it
No.
became that, but at least to my recollection, that's what it was. MTV Spring Break ruined that because there had to
Maybe
be
that's why
parents
it's
like
gone
flipping through
now.
the channels who went, what? That's my daughter. And, like, I mean, there had to be moments where there were people going, like, you can't do this like, we have to stop this. Stop letting your teens go to spring break.
I think when you're in college, maybe, which obviously I don't know, because I am not in college yet. But I think when you're in college, it's easier to have a party spring break because, one, you're an adult, technically. Like, you're over 18. And you can go on trips and stuff with friends and don't have to have, like, your parents' permission to drive your car down to the beach or get a plane ticket. When you're in high school, it's like, I mean, we couldn't go anywhere because either we have to go with our families because we're still children, or we have to get our parents' permission to, like, go down somewhere. And most parents are not going to let their 16-year-olds, like, drive down to the beach for a week. by themselves.
That's the thing for me. It's like I feel like, and this is probably just how far I was removed from the cool teen experience, that the idea of like the cool house party or the crazy spring break or the crazy summer trip, like they all just seem to me like very much like fictions that have been sold through movies that I never experienced or even like was aware of people that I knew experiencing. Like do teens ever actually do that? I don't know.
Like I have some friends who went to the beach with their families, and like while they were at the beach, there was like a spring break party for college kids going on, and they like got into this spring break college kids party, but it wasn't like they planned a whole trip around going down and spending a week partying, which I feel like you can't really do when you're a teenager. Like the extent of trips I've gone on with my friends is like driving to Columbus, Ohio, and going to the zoo or going to go-karting or something around the trampoline park. Yeah.
Columbus, Ohio.
Yeah. It's the closest place you can even go go-karting. We don't even live in a place where you can go go-karting.
I bet there are closer go-kart places.
I don't think so. But that's the extent of trips I can go on as a 16-year-old with my other 16-year-old friends.
I think that might have changed, though, because I had 16-year-old friends who did the spring break thing. Again, I don't think they went to Cancun. I think they went to Myrtle Beach, Virginia Beach, like places that would be close to where we are. Places that a lot of people from this area already vacation.
Yeah.
So, like, your family's going to kind of know where you are, like the general location. There's that like false sense of comfort from like, yeah, I've been there, it's probably fine, which I don't know that that's true, but I had friends who did that stuff. Now, I don't know if mom and dad would have let us back then. I don't think they'd let you now.
I don't think so.
I don't know if they would have said yes to Taylor or I, because and I'm sure you're going to say the same thing, Tay. I certainly never asked.
Well, that's the one trip that and you went on a senior trip. I did a senior trip with just my friends, and we went down to Myrtle Beach. And I will say there was a fair amount of cool teen partying there, but we were not party to that party. I think mom and dad knew they had nothing to worry about with me and my friends. Like, I remember spending a whole day in the hotel room watching a Danny Phantom marathon on my cool teen break. Like, they had nothing to worry about.
I will say, I've talked to mom about senior trip, which would just be like next summer, and she's totally fine with that. Like she said, yeah, if you want to drive down to the beach with your friends, get a house, whatever, like that's fine. I don't know if it's when you've graduated high school, it's kind of like now you're moving into the adult world. Well, you're an adult now. So you can go party for a week at the beach and have cool teen parties.
Here's your certificate for one free drink at Senior Frogs. You've come of age.
That's my graduation present. But I don't know if it's just you're still in high school and it's like during the school year, so it's like you just got off of school and you have to come back and be in the mindset for school again. I don't know. It just seems like I would not be able to organize a trip with all of my other 16-year-old friends and go to the beach.
No, the only time I ever did like a spring break trip, like you said, I was in college. I think I was a freshman, so I was technically still a teen. But I did do the drive down to the beach with my then boyfriend and some of our friends. And we stayed with Uncle Michael. So, I mean, that was probably part of why I was allowed, was like we were staying with family, with mom's brother.
Yeah.
That made it cool. And, but I mean, he was cool and he lived at the beach. So it wasn't like, it was a good idea. It was fun. It was a great time. We had a great time. I enjoyed it thoroughly, and I got mono and came back very sick. Good. So that was like a bad end. I mean, that story took a turn and it ended bad.
It ended bad.
But it was great up until the mono part. It was very good.
I do have a lot of friends that are a few years older than me, and their freshman year of college, I actually noticed this with most of my friends who are in college. Their freshman year, they went on a spring break trip like that. And then their sophomore year, they like came home for spring break. Like they didn't want to do the party thing. I don't know if a lot of teens just like go down freshman year and do it, and they're like, well, that wasn't the level I was expecting. That was kind of a lot going on all at once.
Yeah.
You could only dance by the side of a pool for so long before you realize how empty it can be.
You imagine spending a week going to Senior Frogs every night and putting on like the same bathing suit and having to dance by the same pool with all the same people for a week?
We should note, we don't have some personal vendetta against Senior Frogs.
Well, there's nothing wrong with Senior Frogs.
It just seems
I've never
like
even been to Senior Frogs.
I feel like I was there because when we were walking around it in Cabo,
it was a part of us.
It was like it was trying to suck you in. It was like if you got too close,
you would
enter its gravitational pull and be forced inside
into the line of people doing the Macarena and drinking margaritas.
Exactly. Like there would be like you had to be very careful, but we were inoculated with the presence of a toddler. So.
Right. This is no exaggeration of how Senior Frogs was. This is exact.
It's all open. So it's just like people everywhere.
I remember getting a text from Mom as soon as we got into Cabo, and I was able to text again, being off a boat. And the first thing Mom said to me after not talking to me for a few days was, "Are you at Senior Frogs?" Well, no, but I was adjacent to Senior Frogs.
I am Senior Frogs adjacent, but it's okay. No, the thing that made me most nervous, and part of the reason like I never had any interest, is that I saw so many people on those boats, the party boats,
which literally said spring break across the side of them.
They do. They have spring break.
Spring break.
In case you're wondering where to come, if that's what you're on, here it is. But there are so many people on those boats, and I mean, you know the boats I'm talking about. Like, are they pontoon boats? I guess. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Anyway, there's so many people on them. First of all,
they're very small.
I'm worried about them sinking. Secondly, I'm worried about weight distribution because everybody's like drinking and kind of dancing, and I'm worried about them tipping.
They're
so not
all
just
on the
sinking,
front
but
end of
tipping.
that boat with the little dance floor.
Exactly. They're all on one end. They're not distributing their weight very well. Maybe this isn't a problem though. Maybe these boats are built to accommodate
spring break parties,
drunken dancing teens. So maybe that's with that in mind. The other thing that stresses me out though is it never looks like there'd be anywhere to sit. So that's
what Sydney's concern is.
No, there's nothing wrong with that, or at least I agree with that, because my qualifications for a place I want to party at are: can I extend my arms in both directions and not touch anybody? And do I have a place to sit down? Like that's the party Taylor wants to be at.
Well, seriously, can you imagine? Like, I don't know where the beer is, first of all, but they don't all have access to it. So, like, there's probably a cooler with lukewarm beer somewhere, and I wouldn't be able to get to it easily because it's so crowded, and I'd be stuck standing. I'd have to touch a lot of other people, and there's just nowhere to sit. It doesn't look like.
You could,
and you're on a boat. Well, you're on a boat.
You could sit on the bottom of the boat.
Well, I mean, there's so many teens.
You'd just be the one teen sitting in the middle of the party, but if you want a place to sit, it's there.
I feel like 5 minutes in, I'd have jumped off the boat and swam for shore. But then you start the whole cascade of people going,
everyone jumps off.
Spring break, and jumping off after you, and it's like, no, that's not what I was. No,
I was trying to leave. Spring break.
I wasn't doing that thing. You don't ever want to start that.
Yeah, I don't think that we are genetically designed for party times.
I mean, I know how to party. Like, I like to party, just not that.
I told Sydney I'm going to go undercover my freshman year of college and infiltrate Cool Teen Party Central in Cabo for spring break and see what they really do. Because who knows? Maybe I'll be on MTV Spring Break, the reboot, the 2.0.
I mean,
2K18.
like, Jimmy Fallon and Drew Barrymore, like, commentated, co-hosted something.
Do you think
MTV Spring Break? So, like famous people were involved in this.
Do you think they were fake teens or actor teens? Do you think they used fake teens?
I'm gonna guess that everybody there was. I mean, they probably weren't. If they were teens, they were, definitely over 18 years old.
I don't mean fake teens. I mean, do you think they used actors who were not actually just random college kids there on spring break?
Maybe for some of the like specific bits, for like game show bits or Jerry Springer bits. I mean, possibly for that. But like if you look at the number of people there, I really think it was
some of them are real.
It was more of a, here's a place we're going to set up where we're going to have like either free or really cheap alcohol. And then they had concerts too. So imagine a lot of people would go just because like NSYNC will be there.
Right.
Britney Spears is going to be there. You're going to get to see Big Papa live. Like that was the kind of stuff that like drew people in, and then you'd have drinks, and then also, can we film you dancing? I mean, I imagine everybody was signing a lot of those releases saying like, we're going to film you while you do all this debauchery. Is that cool? And everybody's like, yeah,
Spring break.
woo.
I'm sure that the people that were directly pool adjacent were screened for hotness, because that anytime you turn that on, it was just like an endless sea of beautiful people. I'm like, I look around my high school, none of these people are there. There is not a one person that is pool adjacent at my high school.
I feel like, no, maybe it wasn't. I was going to say, I feel like MTV Spring Break came to Marshall once, came to our college campus. But I may be confusing that with the other thing they did, which was MTV Campus Invasion. But it was the same idea where they would come. I mean, there were no pools or bikinis, but like they would come and set up like game shows, like weird stunt stuff on campus. And like they would do a bunch of those things and film them. And then they also had concerts. Like I remember Garbage came and did a concert and I saw them because of it. But like they would go to colleges, I think. But it was largely like the pool thing is what you saw on TV.
There was just lots of pools.
Yeah, well, they were like a tropical place.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that was the idea. No, I'm with you though, Riley. I spent most of my spring breaks sleeping until 1 in the afternoon because I loved that.
Yes.
And reading.
Yes.
And
Except not reading the book I was supposed to be reading for class.
no, that's the night before you go back to school.
Yes.
That's
you
what that's for.
read the Spark Notes. Yes.
Oh, I didn't do that.
I do that.
I never had Cliff Notes.
Yeah.
That's what you do. You read the Spark Notes.
But that was how I spent every day.
Yeah, I was probably on the computer in role-playing chat rooms or watching anime, or in the computer in a role-playing chat room while watching anime. And 100% not showering. that was the goal. An extended off period. Like, I'm not going near you, shower.
Well, we're watching all of these on Instagram now, not so much MTV Spring Break, but just on Instagram, all these beautiful teens on beaches and getting super tan and having lots of parties. I'm just laying in bed, probably wearing the same pajamas every day of spring break and not changing out of them.
Oh, yeah.
And watching all 10 seasons of Friends in one sitting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what spring break should really be used for.
Yeah, which I don't like the fact that it feels so short, because I get just enough time off of school to mess up my sleep schedule. So for the next like 2 weeks, I can't go to bed before 1 and am unable to wake up at 6 in the morning. But I don't get enough time off where I can go back to school the following Monday and feel well rested. I still feel extremely tired and like I just want to keep laying in bed for another week.
I also always did like the thing where I would plan on like if I had a project or something extra, like I'll get it done the week of spring break.
Yeah.
That's when I'll do that. I'll have that whole week. I'll get my homework done early so that I can just spend the whole week on like that extra whatever project. And then of course you get to spring break and it's like, it's my spring break.
I shouldn't have to work.
I shouldn't have to, exactly. I shouldn't have to spend it that way.
Yeah.
I'll put it off and then be mad at myself in a month.
Yeah, like I had to read 50 pages of a book that I still haven't started because it's due day after tomorrow. But I had all spring break. And I had a project that's due in 2 weeks that is very large for 2 classes. Didn't start over spring break. I told myself I was going to. No, never did. I had too much Friends to watch. I didn't know what was going to happen.
How many times have you rewatched all of Friends?
3.5. 3.5 times.
You've seen Friends more than me.
I've watched it. I will say, not every time I've watched it in order consecutively. I often find myself skipping some of the middle seasons because I liked it best at its beginning and at its end.
I don't know how to respond to that.
But I just started watching another series on Netflix, which is another cool teen series, 13 Reasons Why. So that's what's been occupying most of my time.
Yeah, I just finished that. I had to watch the cool new thing on Netflix. I had some off days, and I needed a good excuse not to shower, so I took advantage of that.
There you go.
And another teen series about teens at the end of the world that are all very beautiful and all not wearing shirts, The 100. I realize this is another novel series that I have not read, but it is exactly like all of the books that I have read, which is just a lot of teens. They're literally all teenagers that are put at the end of the world in the world after the nuclear apocalypse. But they're all very attractive. So,
well, there's your supplementary teen information for the week.
Yeah,
You can
if you want to watch a new cool teen show, watch The 100. Or 13 Reasons Why.
I did want to wish you guys and all of our listeners out there a happy 20th anniversary of Buffy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Daria.
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I just thought that was important. It's an
And-
important holiday for us to mark.
And happy end of the Max Fun Drive. It was crazy. We hit, what, like 24,000 donors, which
New
is
and upgrading
insane?
donors. It was amazing. Yeah. Thank you all so much for your support for the Max
Yeah.
Fun Drive.
That was
Yeah.
crazy.
It really meant the world to us that so many people donated, and all of the Facebook messages and tweets and emails and all of the messages we got about people donating and thanking us and telling us that you did. It's so cool. It's really exciting. It makes us feel great. We appreciate it. I can't say that enough. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And I wanted to mention, we will be at the Columbus Podcast Festival on April 27th, which is a Thursday, along with Sawbones, Sydney's other podcast, and Court Appointed, which is our dad's and Scampy Mike's podcast.
So there you go.
You can buy a ticket, and you'll get to see a bunch of other podcasts, but you'll also get to see all 3 of those. So we'll be there.
So go check out the Columbus Podcast Festival online and get a ticket to that, and we'll be there Thursday night. And I think that's it.
Yeah.
Our mom is making fudge for everyone.
It's going to be crazy.
How many people is she making fudge for?
Buckle in.
How many?
I mean, the original commitment was the entire Facebook group.
Which is like 7,000 people.
Yeah, let me tell you guys, our mom is dedicated to making you all fudge. She
Yes.
really wants to make that happen. Here's what I'm saying. Maybe it won't all happen at once. Maybe we might need to do like a fudge calendar. Maybe you might need to expect your fudge later in the year.
You get a year
may
of fudge.
be set up for a certain time slot throughout this year of fudge.
Yeah, maybe it will be an exciting surprise later in the year when you get fudge from our mom. It's worth the wait. It's delicious,
Yes.
delicious fudge.
Yes.
But cut her some slack. She's just one woman, and that's a lot of fudge.
7,000 people's worth of fudge.
How are we organizing this?
Fudge calendar. We'll be back with updates soon.
I know we're working on. Justin's helping us. There's a Google spreadsheet. We have a plan,
Okay, all right.
but there will be it will be a steady stream of fudge.
Yeah.
That is.
Our
Yeah,
kitchen will be unusable for the next several months.
Oh, it'll smell so good.
It'll smell so good, though.
Yeah, you guys are really getting something there. Mom's fudge has pretty much been. I mean, every homeroom teacher, every significant boss, every job that has been the golden key to getting on the right path. Like, oh, I brought some of my mother's fudge. The promotion.
It's good.
My residents look forward to it. They know every time I'm on hospital service, I'll be showing up with fudge.
Yeah.
So. Well, thank you, sisters, as always. Riley, I'm sorry your spring break is over.
I mean, it was over a few weeks ago, so I've
Yeah.
kind of gotten over it at this point.
For those of you who haven't enjoyed your spring break yet,
Enjoy your spring break.
Enjoy your spring break responsibly.
Yeah.
Just stay
You could
home
spend
and
it in
sleep
bed watching Are You
Stay
One?
inside. Just stay inside.
Stay home and sleep in, and
Yeah.
read some good books, and maybe do your homework the day before.
Eat Pringles in
The day before
bed.
spring
That
break.
was like a cool teen thing, right?
Yeah.
Sit in your Papa's chair and eat some Cool Ranch Doritos.
Yeah.
Is that
That's yeah.
Okay.
That sounds pretty good to me. Actually.
That sounds good to
Okay.
me.
All
I don't
right.
think we're the right people to ask.
Yeah, that's fair.
Either way, be safe if you are going on spring break trips.
Yeah.
We make a lot of jokes about MTV Spring Break and all the debauchery, but seriously, if you're going on a trip, please be safe and take care of yourself. Be situationally aware and, well, I'm serious. You're making fun of me,
Sydney's
but like,
PSA of the week.
no, really. But I mean, you can go to the beach and have fun. There are ways to do that and be safe. So
Play some
take
mini
care.
golf. Go to a wax museum. Maybe ride a roller coaster. You don't have to drink to have fun.
Exactly. You don't have to drink to have fun. If you do decide to drink, do so responsibly. Don't drink and drive, and don't take drinks from people that you don't know, and don't overindulge, and use protection if you engage in sexual activity.
Ah.
Sorry, Riley. It's true. Take care of yourselves and each other.
Rarely will too much mini golf result in tragedy, whereas too much drinking will.
Yes.
By the way, take care of yourselves and each other. I'm pretty sure it was Jerry Springer's sign off.
Oh, good.
So there you
Can
go.
we steal that? Is he still using that? I like that.
Take care of yourselves and each other.
Here you go.
And thank you to the
Yeah.
novellas for our theme song, Baby.
There you go.
You change your mind.
This has been Still Buffering, a sister's guide to teens through the ages. I am Riley Smurl.
I'm Sydney McElroy.
And I'm Taylor Smurl.
I'm a teenager.
And I was too.
What's the deal with Brexit? Have you seen Happy Valley yet?
How do British people pronounce Edinburgh, Leicester, or Norwich?
Not like that.
Are you tired of getting your world news from reliable sources, often with no puns or sexual innuendo?
Why was there a butcher's hat haunting Coronation Street?
What's Coronation Street, and why is Dave Holmes obsessed with it?
International Waters pairs a team of comedians in LA against a team of comedians in London in a pop culture battle royale. Join us once a fortnight to hear the best comedians in the world trade jokes and stories and maybe even learn something at the same time. International Waters with me, Dave Holmes. Find it at MaximumFun.org or wherever you download podcasts.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture. Artist owned.
Listener supported.